I'm the head of the Austrian Lawyers Network here in London, and today we're hosting an event with two panel speakers. It's about online radicalisation and how that can lead to real-life violence. One of our speakers, Dr Julia Ebner, she is from Cambridge University, and then we have also with us Sir David Omand, and he is the former head of GCHQ, and we're looking forward to the evening.
It's the advent of social media that has made the big difference. You can therefore make networks, which would have been quite impossible before 20 years ago, before social media spread. So even if you have a very niche interest in something rather unpleasant, you can find other people somewhere in the globe who share that interest, and you can find them instantly, and you can find groups in which you can then work each other up. And that's how ideas about expressing violence come about, and it's very dangerous.
Online radicalization has really accelerated in recent years, and we've seen a mainstreaming of a lot of the extremist fringe ideas that used to be found in the darkest corners of the internet only, and now they have of course penetrated some of the mainstream discussions, even political discourse, and this has further been amplified by the algorithms as well as by some big influencers with millions of followers and by politicians.
Because we're actually seeing on our streets examples where individuals with violent thoughts have been inspired by what they've seen and by their participation in radical groups, actually committing violent acts and indeed joining in violent demonstrations which end in badly. And this is only going to get worse. Children are at a special risk, so safeguarding young people from these influences is important. In the UK, we've now got coming into force the Online Harms Act, which will put duties on those who run these platforms to do their best to remove offensive and illegal content.
It's important to talk about it because it affects all of us. It affects the pillars of our democracy, it can reverse human rights in the medium and long run, and it even goes into our workplaces, our schools, where we've seen a rise in harassment, a rise, for example, in sexist abuse, as well as hatred towards minorities.
Well, we should regard ourselves as partners in trying to uphold the values of civilized society. The internet doesn't respect boundaries. This material, this violent material and offensive material, passes seamlessly across borders. So only internationally, by working together, can we identify where the content is, inform the platforms, get it taken down. And if we all work together on this, the liberal democracies get together, then we can actually put some pressure on even these giant corporations.
I think there's a lot of potential for the UK and Austria to work together on some of these trends and some of these challenges, in particular because we're facing very similar dynamics, especially when it comes to youth radicalization. Both the UK and Austria have recently seen an uptick in young people, including minors, being radicalized. And of course, the new Netflix series Adolescence really shed light on some of these dynamics. And I think there's a lot to learn from each other, especially some of the initiatives that are already being carried out, as well as how the curriculum in schools might be adapted to raise awareness and to teach students and young people to better brace themselves from manipulation techniques from extremists.
I don't have much hope at the moment, I have to confess, because I think it's getting worse. But it will begin to get better as the measures we're all taking here in the UK, our new act, begins to have some influence. And what gives me hope as well is the fact that we're having this discussion and that partner countries are working together on it. We're outside the European Union at the moment, to my great regret, but it doesn't stop us having very deep partnerships in this area.
I think what gives me a lot of hope is that we already see a really huge number of new initiatives being launched, and especially those sitting at the intersection of education and psychology and the digital sphere. I think there's still a lot of potential to connect these different issues to make especially young people understand their own identities in the online spaces better, to give people an opportunity, also the older generations of course, to reflect on how their behavior might change when they join an online community or an online group, how it affects us all on a societal level, how some of these algorithms tap into our deepest human longings and desires and needs, and how we might be exploitable by extremist groups and also radical far-right politicians.